welcome today to Michel Hogan from Brandology to talk about customers, your business brand, and how your brand can and should interact with your customers. Hi, Michel.
Hey there, Fiona.
One of the most challenging things, particularly in the starting phase and the early growth phase of a business, is working out just what is realistic to deliver to your customers, for what cost, and just what isn't.
Yeah.
How important, in your view, is it to work out those things and then go about setting your customer expectations as to what you're going to provide? Because I think we often overshoot the mark there.
I would agree. There's a bit of a myth out there that the only customer service that matters is to exceed your customers' expectations. It's really dangerous. It's so dangerous because
in what ways? Tell me what it does. What does it set up?
Well, I think it sets up this false idea that, you know, that at every point of every interaction, you know, anything I'm getting should be better than what I even think it could be.
Where's the end point?
Where's the end point? You know, hey, let's just put some Coke on the table.
When's good enough? When are we going to be happy?
When are we going to be happy? And it continues to escalate. I was having this conversation last week with some people, and they said, "Oh, I get it. So you basically under-promise and over-deliver." And I said, No. What you do is you understand, you make your promises, and you meet them every time. Fundamentally different dynamic and premise. And don't think about customer service, think about customer expectation setting. And whatever those expectations are for your organisation. And they need to be what works for you. This idea that there's a one-size-fits-all or a one approach of customer service, and there are a lot of, you know, seminars and things being run out there about, you know, delivering great customer service. Like, well,
sometimes I don't want great customer service.
Sometimes I
just want to buy the thing.
Exactly. Sometimes I just want you to take my money.
Yeah.
I don't need anything more than that, and that's all I want. And when I get that, I'm happy as a clam. And it's fundamentally, inherently dangerous premise that everything has to be this out of your skin level of customer service, or you're not meeting the grade.
My next question kind of picks up on that, because you're big on brand statements and has been really clear about what you do and stating it.
Without question.
Does every brand statement include good customer service? I read so many that do have it in there.
I know.
And can a case be made for adequate service or even poor service? And I've heard there is a company in this world who claims to have poor service but excellent safety standards.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that I do not think that every company needs to have great customer service or great customer service as part of its brand promise. I think if you're not delivering at least a on-par standard with whatever else is going on in your space, you're certainly leaving money on the table. However, unless service is an authentic part of the brand, in other words, it's something that we genuinely believe in. And of course, I mean, the most well-known example of that right now is Zappos, who claims, as they say, you know, we're a customer service company that sells shoes. Right? It's front and centre for them. They've built their entire organisation and operation around customer service. They hire people who are genetically encoded to go to the mat for you. They, you know, who live and die. And that's great, but that's not sustainable for every organisation. It's not realistic for every organisation, nor is it what every organisation cares about. Case in point, Apple. Right? Apple does on-par customer service. Right? It's really not something they care about all that much. They care about making absolutely game-changing killer products, and they do that better than anyone else.
I love my iPhone, and I love my MacBook, and I can't wait to go and buy my iPad. I don't need. In fact, I do it online. I don't even want customer service.
I don't necessarily need to be transacted. Well, that's part of customer service. They make it pretty easy for you to transact that online. Great, but on the absolute other end of this scenario, and the company you alluded to, is one that came up in an interview that I did with an associate, Cindy Solomon, who's a customer loyalty guru out of the US. And she was talking about the example of Ryanair, which is currently the #1 rated customer service company in Europe, airline in Europe. They deliver
which is so ironic.
It's ironic in the extreme. They deliver no customer service whatsoever. But they're crystal clear about that. They basically say, and to, and repeat customers out the wazoo shows that they're doing it right, that we will get you from point A to point B as cheaply as possible when we say we're going to do it every time. That's it. That's all we promise you, and that's what we deliver. Our flight attendants are surly. They're here to keep you safe, not make you feel good. If you want a blanket, you're going to pay for it. You want a pillow, you're going to pay for it. If you want food, bring it on yourself. And their customers love them because they are crystal clear about what the expectation is, and they deliver that expectation every single time.
So it's a clarity of message, isn't it, about what the customer's going to get?
Absolutely.
And because their message is so clear and it's so understood by the customer base, people are actually rating them for great customer service because they're getting
what they expected. What they expected, and this is the key. It's not, there is a base level, and you and I were talking about this of I'm in business, I want to be able to transact with you, I'd like to be able to do that, please. And a lot of people call that customer service.
It's not really, is it? And we blame
not
being able to transact with poor customer service.
Yeah.
However, as you've mentioned to me, that's about bad business process. So that's
pretty much.
Not actually having set up the right salesperson in the right place in order to take your money.
Yeah. Now that and you start to layer on top of that, and that's when you start to get into the service. Do you want to make me feel good while I do it? Do you want to, there's all sorts of things that add on top of that, but that has to align within, again, back to this alignment issue that we've talked about before, align within what your purpose is, what you care about, what are your values as an organisation, and how your service plays within that organisation is a result of all of those things in play. And I think something that people really forget, and it drives me to absolute distraction, is that it's one thing to say it, it's another thing wholly to do it. And this is where I think everybody gets into trouble that has problems with customer service. It is this inability to deliver on a promise. When I tell you I'm going to do something, there's an inherent promise in that.
And that's what Ryanair have got right, isn't it?
Yeah, that is what they've got right.
This is what we're going to do, and we're not going to do more than that.
Exactly, and they're clear about it. Southwest Airlines, to a degree, do the same thing. Where companies get into trouble is when they're starting to try to promise too much, and quite often those promises start conflicting with each other. So while I might meet this promise to you, if I'm failing on all these others, I'm still not happy. So be really clear about what you're promising. Keep your promises relatively structured and not too broad. The broader your promises are, the less likely you are going to be able to fulfill them. And really be crystal clear that not everybody can be Zappos. Really serious. Quite seriously, not everyone can
that everyone is it?
Do we really want to live in a world where everyone is Zappos? I don't know, that's a little bit frightening.
In a nutshell, we could all learn from Ryanair.
We could, absolutely.
What we don't do well as what we're going to give you.
Exactly. I think that's a pretty good plan of action.
Thanks for your time and insights today, Michelle.
Thanks, Fiona.
I've been speaking to Michel Hogan, founder of Brandology, who's a brand advocate helping you make sure that your brand is robust.